It's been 16 drafts since the New York Islanders last picked first overall, selecting John Tavares in 2009. At the time, they really needed someone to come in and save the franchise. The Tavares era ran its course, and they need someone new again now. The Islanders are pretty much right at the beginning of a process that's going to take years. They're finally committed to a rebuild in efforts to get the team back within striking range of a Stanley Cup where they were just a few years ago. They lucked into the first overall pick with just a 3.5% chance. They now get the opportunity to kick off that rebuilding process with Matthew Schaefer, a player that looks to be an excellent fit for the future of their organization. Schaefer fought his way to becoming the consensus number 1 pick over the course of the season. He's one of very few, if any players ever, who have only improved their stock over the course of the season while being injured. He didn't even start the season, and ultimately played fewer games in his draft year than any other first overall pick in the 2000s. He wasn't even the top pick going into the year, moving up to become the consensus top pick. And that's because scouts liked what they saw just that much. Schaefer is one of only 3 defensemen to go first in the past 10 drafts. He's the first out of the OHL in 11 years, since Aaron Ekblad went 1. It's somewhat of a rarity to have defensemen go in the top spot nowadays, but the Islanders and the league view Schaefer as just that special. Scouting reports on Schaefer will tell you that he's good at pretty much everything. He's tremendous in all 3 zones, with the vision and IQ to see things everywhere. He's a great skater, shooter, and passer, and he's got decent athleticism in addition to profiling at 6'2". His style has a whole range of comparisons, with scouts seeing varying shades of players, with comparisons in part to guys like Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar, or Scott Niedermayer. Some of the more interesting things in his profile are the intangibles. He's a leader, captaining Canada at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup, and serving as an alternate for the Erie Otters. If he ends up staying in the OHL, you would think he's likely captain there next season, and the Islanders can certainly see a vision for him as the captain of their team way down the line with these qualities. The more important quality is his potential, limitless in a way unique to any skater in this draft class. Schaefer is one of the youngest prospects in the entire draft. Had he been just 11 days younger, he would have been in the 2026 NHL draft. Those extra months of development, especially with an NHL organization's oversight and guidance, especially for a defenseman, really matter. Some defensive prospects, even high picks, take a very long time to reach their full potential. Fortunately, the Islanders are at the perfect point to take on this type of development project. The New York Islanders are right at the beginning of a transitory period in their franchise. The absolute perfect time to get a first overall pick, with the perfect project to be that pick. They moved on from franchise icon Brock Nelson, netting a haul in the process and signaling legitimate intent to rebuild. Even bigger news was the repositioning of the front office. After 7 years, Lou Lamoriello is out as GM, with new opportunities with Matthew Darche in charge, replacing one of the most recognizable long-term GMs with a first-time NHL GM. New players, new management, a new direction. The first overall pick in itself is a blessing. Any top pick would have served as the new face of the franchise right when the Islanders need it. But Schaefer specifically is such an excellent fit for the Islanders organization. Being one of the youngest players in the draft serves the Islanders perfectly, as they get that extra development runway on a versatile talent with unreal potential. Many teams' prospect pools are built with depth for years, taking forever to acquire that star or never even getting it. The Islanders, a few short years ago, were without any prospects of note, but have begun to add over the past few seasons. Drafting Cole Iserman and acquiring Callum Ritchie has been a big help, and they then vault ahead of many teams with this pick. At just the beginning of a rebuild, now is the perfect time to get a player like Schaefer, a future franchise cornerstone. Schaefer's age and position means it's going to be a long time before he's a regular player in the Islanders lineup. Should the Islanders get high lottery picks in the coming years, there's even a chance those later drafted players could get into the lineup before him. He's not viewed as NHL ready now, and it's likely a long shot that a defensive prospect as young as him makes the team out of camp. That's not a bad thing though, because it means that the Islanders have all the time in the world to build around him, prepare for him to reach the NHL, and make sure he and the team are fully ready for it. The New York Islanders have a defensive identity at the core of their franchise. Maybe the greatest player in their franchise's history is Denis Potvin, the player who produced over 1,000 points from the back end, won 3 Norris trophies, and brought 4 Stanley Cups back to the franchise. Schaefer's even been compared to Potvin in the time since they won the draft lottery, not necessarily because people expect him to be on that level, but for the fact that both would be, and now are, first overall drafted do-it-all defensemen for the Islanders. When they went to back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals in 2020 and 2021, that was largely off the back of sturdy defenders like Adam Pelech and Ryan Pulock. With Schaefer, there's the opportunity to add another name to their elite established list. While other prospects were advancing deep into the Memorial Cup or Frozen Four, Schaefer was still recovering from injury. He should have lost ground, been passed up by Misa or Frondell or Hagens. But the injuries didn't matter to scouts, because his potential is really that incredible. Matthew Schaefer is the perfect fit for a team just beginning to rebuild around a new generation. Young beyond even the scale of a typical top pick, who is good at everything and can be molded into being great at whatever the Islanders want him to be. He has true number 1 defenseman potential, a luxury that even some Stanley Cup winning teams don't have. And the Islanders have all the time and resources necessary to make sure that he gets there.